Hello everyone. Sef Alchemist here. Thank you very much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. Today I want to share with you one of my favorite tools for occult practices and for magic, which is sigils. What are sigils and how do they work for magical practices? Something important that we need to remember here is that a sigil is a form or a shape that can help you connect to spirit. And it is only a tool. Just like crystals, just like tarot, just like runes, sigils are only a tool that one can use for the practice to enhance the manifestation that one person desires. Sigils have existed and have been used since the beginning of time. Since people started using magic, sigils were there. And they exist in various shapes and forms. You might ask, but how come a simple drawing have power? It's the same as your intention, the same as your words. How come sometimes simple words that you utter become a spell or become a hex? It's the same thing. Everything comes from your intention and from your energy. It's the same way for crystals. When you use crystals, yes, crystals are beautiful. They do belong to earth. They have the earth energy, but it's your intention combined with the energy of the crystals that give a crystal a certain power. Sigils are the same. And what do you think logos are? What do you think they are? Do you think they're simple drawings? They are sigils. Take any multi-billion-dollar corporation with their logos. When you see their logo, you know it's them. The moment you see the logo, not only you know it's that company, but you know everything connected to that company and what they stand for. Just from one simple drawing. That's why cell phone companies and electronic companies use logos, like Apple, for example. The car companies use logos as well. Because the moment you see that logo, you know what the brand stands for. You know that it represents something. It's a sigil. But nowadays we call it logo, but sigils are logos. And each sigil represents something. The sigil that represents abundance. The sigil that represents manifesting your dreams. The sigil that represents activating your powers. The sigil that represents remembering your past lives. They are drawings that can help you with certain elements in your life that you're struggling with. And they're just a tool. You're not supposed to give them power. You're not supposed to worship them. They're just tools, just like tarot, just like crystals. These shapes can come in various forms. You can draw a simple sigil and activate it with your intention, and then it becomes always for that intention. It's the same way if you open your own company or your own business, you make a logo for it, and that logo will always represent your business. So there's various ways of drawing sigils. So you can draw your own sigil if you're good at drawing, or if you enjoy drawing sigils, because I do. It's something I love to do and it comes naturally to me. Or you can use other ways of drawing sigils, such as one of the most popular way of drawing sigils is the Osman sparse way. You can research that on your own. It's not very complicated. You're supposed to write whatever you want to manifest, and then you remove the vowels, and then you connect the consonants and something within those lines. I never use the Osman sparse way, but a lot of people in occult practices use it because it's kind of easy. Which brings me to my way of channeling sigils. The way I channel sigils are based on sacred geometry, because in the beginning of my journey, I was obsessed with sacred geometry to the point that I opened a YouTube channel for it. And you can visit that channel. It's in the link in the description box below. It's called Sacred Geometry Language of the Universe. I started it in 2017, I think. And I studied sacred geometry. I became obsessed with it. I learned everything I wanted to learn about sacred geometry. These geometric shapes, they make up the universe. They're the foundation and the blueprints of the universe. For example, a snowflake. is shaped as a hexagram, two interlocking equilateral triangles. If you cut an apple in the middle, you will see a pentagram, which is the 5-pointed star. If you check the beehive, you will see that it's made up of hexagons, and inside the hexagon you can fit a hexagram. Nature is made up of geometry, and it's also connected to the golden ratio, to the golden mean, to the Fibonacci sequence as well, which is based on the golden ratio. So nature is geometric. Creation is based on geometry. What kind of geometry? Simple geometric shapes. We have the circle, the triangle, the square, the pentagram, the hexagram, the heptagram, the octagram, the anagram. You follow the numbers from 0 to 9, and each number has its own geometric shape. And when you combine these shapes, you find out that that's what makes up the universe. If you go to some beautiful mosques in the Islamic world, you will see unbelievable, beautiful, sacred geometries made up of tiles and patterns that are mind-blowing. Because in the Islamic world, in Islam, the religion forbids the depiction of God or any divine angel. So instead, what the Muslims did is depict that divinity in geometric shapes. So if you have the chance to visit some beautiful mosques in the Islamic world, you will see beautiful sacred geometries that just transports you to a beautiful world. But the Muslims know that these geometries represents divinity. The reason why is that if you actually have deep states of meditation, you will see geometric shapes. You will see the flower of life. You will see the hexagram. You will see the pentagram. I myself saw that in deep states of meditation, and the first time I ever saw that, many years ago, in the beginning of my journey, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that what I'm seeing is geometries. And I still see that right now when I go into deep states of meditation. I see spirits, but I also see geometries and geometric forms and shapes. Because it's the fabric of the universe that you don't see. The foundation, the blueprints of what you see around you is geometry. And when I saw these shapes, in the first time, I was not, of course, intoxicated with any drugs or any psychedelics, and I'm against those things, and I'm not an advocate for them, and I mentioned this in many of my previous videos. If you truly meditate, and if you hit a deep state of meditation without being intoxicated with mushrooms or ayahuasca and similar things, you can see these geometric shapes. But the people who consume substances such as mushrooms and these psychedelics, they also see geometric shapes. They do see geometric shapes. Either intoxicated or not. When that veil is removed, either naturally or abruptly through psychedelics, which is not a good thing because that turns into an addiction, what you see is geometry. Before you start seeing spirits, let me tell you that. Before you see spirits, you will see geometry. And that's why I was obsessed with sacred geometry, because I knew it's the fabric of the universe. I knew that it's beyond just shapes and forms. Divinity can be represented through geometry. And we see it in nature. Just go and observe the plants, the leaves. You will see geometry everywhere. Everywhere in nature, you will see it. For sigils, my way of channeling sigils from spirit for specific intentions is that I use my knowledge of sacred geometry and I apply it to the sigils. So all of my sigils are geometric and they follow sacred geometry. That's how I've done it from the beginning. And it came to me naturally. When I was making the videos in my sacred geometry channel, a lot of people were saying that the shapes I create are beautiful. And over time, I learned that I can actually transfer that and start creating sigils. And when I started creating sigils, people were impressed by the sigils I was making. I was not aware that these sigils have potential. So it's something that is just part of me. I love it, and it's part of me. And if you go and see the sigils that I channel on videos here on my channel, go and check the playlist for sigils. Before I channel any sigil, I first have to have the intention in mind. What is the sigil going to be for? There are also sigils that represent certain deities or certain demons, especially guardian demons, guardian angels. In the Lesser Key of Solomon, the book, the Lesser Key of Solomon, you will find the sigils for the demons and for the angels. They have their own sigils. The mystery in the Lesser Key of Solomon, it's also called the Lemegeton. It's another name for that book, but most people know it as the Lesser Key of Solomon. The thing is that those sigils drawn in that book, you're going to have those sigils for Asmodeus and for Moloch, for Baal, for Beelzebub, for all the demons and for all the angels. The mystery is that no one knows who drew those sigils. No one knows who drew them. They're a mystery. So when you're using a sigil for a certain demon or a certain angel, that sigil, it's unknown who drew it. But they exist. They're there. But the artist is unknown for the sigils. But I never use those sigils from the Lesser Key of Solomon. You want to know why? Because they don't sit well with me. They just never resonated with me. It's just the truth. There's nothing personal. If you love them, use them. But I never use those sigils. And there's a lot of occultists who based and still base their sigils on the Lesser Key of Solomon sigils. So when you see their sigils, they look like they're inspired from the Lesser Key of Solomon. There's so many occultists who do that. They draw a sigil that's very similar to what you see in the Lesser Key of Solomon. But the first time I saw those sigils from the Lesser Key of Solomon, they just didn't resonate with me. For me, it was like, no, this is not it. But that's just me. I'm not saying you're not supposed to use them. I'm not saying you have the freedom, you have the choice. If you love them, use them by all means. But I use my own sigils. For Lucifer, I have my own sigil for Lucifer. For Lilith, I have my own sigil for Lilith. I channel the sigils and I have them for various purposes. And I offer them on my website, sefalchemist.com. So I do sell sigils on my website. I have two sections. One is regular sigils and one is advanced sigils, or Sigilus Maximus is what I call it on the website. The advanced sigils, the Sigilus Maximus, they're very complicated. They're complex sigils. They have a lot of magical writings and they're super complex. That's why they're more expensive than the regular sigils that are in the sigils section. And for each sigil, it has a certain purpose. And it's already been activated because every time I channel a sigil, I activate it already. Because me channeling sigil that's already in activation, I'm using my energy and I'm having a ritual for the sigil as well. When I channel this sigil, I'm not just drawing like it's some piece of art and I'm just having fun. I do a ritual for the sigil. And then I channel it so it's properly done. And then I activate it so it has all of the energy that's intended for it. So the sigils, if you get them from my website, they're not empty drawings. They already are supposed to do what they're supposed to do. Let me show you some of these sigils because in my website, the sigils are not revealed because you're supposed to trust the universe for what you are guided. If you want a sigil to activate your powers, you trust that this sigil is going to help you do that. You're not supposed to see it because this is not art. It's not a piece of art. And that's why you can't see my sigils in my website. But today, I'm going to reveal some of them to you. Some of them. And I'm not going to say which one is for what purpose. It is, number one, for plagiarism. And number two, my sigils, every time I channel them, they have a counter energy thing that anyone who tries to plagiarize them or copy them, they will get the opposite effect. Meaning that if you don't get them legally from my website, the purpose they were meant for is going to be used in the opposite way. Because you're supposed to use them properly. You're supposed to get them properly from my website and not copy them. And I'm going to show some of them to you right now, and you're not supposed to copy them. And if you do, because they're going to be on the screen, if you do copy them, whatever you intend them for is going to come back to you as the opposite. And it's going to be always a negative thing. Okay, I'm trying not to be too harsh here, but it's going to be always negative. So for those of you who think they can trick the system, as in like you're going to intend it for something bad, so something good is going to come, no. So if you decide to purchase any of the sigils from my website and trust the spirit and universe for the guidance that comes to you, if you decide, because you can draw your own sigil. The reason why I'm selling the sigils here is that some people don't know how to draw. Similarly to a tarot reading, sometimes you don't know how to do a tarot reading for yourself, so you're going to go to a reader. Sometimes you don't know how to massage some parts of your body properly, so you're going to go to a masseuse to get the massage for you. It's the same. If you don't know how to draw your own sigils, you're going to get some sigils that can help you. So let me show you some of the sigils that I have on my website. So there's this kind of sigil. I'm not going to tell you what it's intended for. There's this, and they're all digital. All the sigils that I sell on my website are digital, in digital form like this. Most of them have two backgrounds, white background and black background. On the black background, they look like this. These are some of the complex sigils. You can find it in the section of Sigilus Maximus. And it's also with the black background. This is also a complex sigil. It's in the Sigilus Maximus section. You can see how complex it is. This is another one with the black background. I showed it earlier with the white background. So for example, if you purchase this sigil specifically, the file you're going to get is the one with the white background and the one with the black background, and you can use whichever depending on your mood, depending on how you feel like. This as well. Earlier, this is a complex sigil. Here's the white background and the black background. So when you get it, you'll get both backgrounds. Oh, this sigil is supposed to be this way, actually. It was upside down. So these are some, not all, some of the sigils I have on my website that I sell. And I decided to share them with you because a lot of you probably check the website and you're doubting the sigils because you can't see them. You can't see what's in there. So I'm showing you how they are created. Each one have a different purpose. I channel them on paper, like how I show on my YouTube. I have many videos where I show how I channel the sigils on paper. And then I take what I channeled on paper and I transfer it digitally, and I make them using a software digitally, and it takes me hours and hours of work. And I also have a customized soul sigil product. You can find it in the Sigilus Maximus section. This is a sigil I channel based on your soul and who you are. And this sigil, once I channel it, you can use it for any purpose you want. So the way I channel it is based on you. So it's going to be your own personalized sigil, and you can use it for any practices. Not just for a certain specific intention like these sigils. One is going to be only for abundance, the other is going to be only for connecting to spirit, the other one is going to be only for unhexing or whatnot. So when I create the soul sigil for you, you can use it for any practice. Another thing I want to add about sigils, they're just tools. Meaning that if you purchase the sigil for abundance, it doesn't mean that abundance is going to come to you right away. If you get the sigil for connecting to your spirits, it doesn't mean that your spirits are going to show up right away. That's not how it works. It's the same as crystals or any other tool. Sigils can just help you enhance the manifestation process. They can enhance the energy, improve it, ameliorate it, make it better. It's not like what you see in the movies, like you're going to use the sigil and the money's going to pop in front of you right away. That's not how magic works anyways. Not only sigils, for anything else, that's not how magic works. Magic is not like what you see in the movies. So sigils are just tools. You have to work on yourself. You have to be on this path, on this journey of transformation, connecting to spirit, taking care of yourself, doing the work, doing your rituals, having an altar. And then the sigil can help with your magical work. And when you purchase, for example, that sigil, let's say for abundance or for health or for anything, and you use it in the way you're supposed to use it, that shape or that form is gonna enhance the energy. Because the sigil, the form, when I channeled it, the intention of the energy is gonna be there. So if I intended, let's say, abundance for this sigil, this is not the sigil for abundance, by the way, but it's just as an example. If I intend abundance for this sigil and you hang it on your wall or have it on your altar, every time you see it, it's going to attract the energy of abundance and it's going to work in that sense. The sigils for banishing and for exorcising, they work as trapping sigils. They trap the negative energy in the shape. And that's why for those sigils, sometimes you need to burn them, because you don't want that negative energy just to be trapped in there. So you have to burn the sigils. Some sigils you don't burn. They stay there forever. Each sigils have different ways of disposing them. So don't expect that a sigil is just gonna work right away. The sigil is just one of the tools of magic that can help you in your magical work. If you use a sigil that can help you invoke your guardian spirits, that's what it's gonna do. So you use it in your ritual, you do the ritual while looking at that sigil, and that sigil is gonna help with the energy of invocation. That's how it works. And for those of you who wonder, Sef, so I don't know how to channel my own sigils, but I still wanna use sigils, and I just want it to be something simple. For those people, let me tell you that a pentagram alone is a sigil if you draw it on a piece of paper. A hexagram alone is a sigil. So the sigil doesn't have to be super complicated. And once you draw the sigil, especially when it has sacred geometry like my sigils, it forms a portal where the sigil is. It's like a portal for that energy, because it follows sacred geometry. And I add some magical writings, and these magical writings, there's different types. I don't use just one. You can always use very simple things like a 5-pointed star. That can be a sigil. A triangle can be a sigil. Just a simple triangle can be a sigil as well. So it can be either very simple or it can be very complicated, depending on the practice, depending on the intention, and depending on what's the purpose for using this sigil. So sigils are one of my favorite tools. I really have a strong connection with them. I love them. They're mysterious, they're occult. They can harness the energy of anything you desire. They're timeless. They come to me naturally. I can channel them easily. And that's why I'm sharing them with you. As I have said it many times before, when you're given a certain gift, you're supposed to share it. You're supposed to share it in your own way. Maybe for you it's not sigils, maybe it's something else, but you're supposed to share it. But before you apply a sigil to your ritual or to any magical practice, please do your research. Do your research. Learn about what the shapes mean. What can you use them for? Is it for protection? Is it for invocation? Is it for creating a portal? You see people drawing circles on the floor. That's a sigil. You know the circle of transmutation? You see it in movies a lot, right? When they want to show that someone is doing magic, they draw a circle on the floor. That's a sigil. It's just a circle, but it's a sigil of transmutation. And it serves for protection. Okay? So I just wanted to share with you some of these sigils that I can do. I have many others on the website. Let me know in the comment section, do you use sigils? Do you channel your own sigils? Is it a tool that you use for your magical practices? Because it is something that I'm so passionate about and I love it so much. Thank you very much. I hope this helps in any shape or form. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Solomon drich res kulosh res zomoch lireken nisha.